Welcome to Beauty and the Biz. Discover how to grow your practice with effective cosmetic patient attraction, conversion, and retention advice from author, speaker, trainer, and cosmetic practice business and marketing coach, Catherine Maley, MBA.
Hello and welcome to Beauty and the Biz, where we talk about the business and marketing side of plastic surgery. I'm your host, Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice, What Your Patients Are Saying, as well as consultant to plastic surgeons to get them more patients and more profits. Now, today's episode is called Built to Sell. And the reason this came up is because I've been talking to a large group of surgeons who have been in practice 20 years or more, and they're thinking about their exit strategy. By the way, the time to ponder this is now, no matter how long you've been in practice, because it can take years to turn your practice into a sellable asset. And if nothing else, at least you'll have a practice you enjoy for the rest of your career. Because the alternative is you don't do anything to improve your practice, but then you've got to know you've only created a job for yourself. Now, that's not a bad thing if that's what you want. But the goal is to be sure you're clear what you're working towards, so you're satisfied with the outcome down the road. Now, since you've already mastered surgery, let's master the business side of surgery. That is what catapults you to success and a more certain future that gives you more options. So all of this starts with mindset, as always. So as a surgeon, you were programmed to think in a certain fixed way, and you had to think that way to become a great surgeon. However, that thinking is the opposite of how a business person thinks. For example, you most likely put more value on you as a surgeon versus growing your staff and your systems. And you most likely work in your practice rather than work on your practice. Now, Michael Gerber explains it well in his excellent book, The E-Myth, Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. I highly recommend you read that. Now, basically, he says to run a successful business or practice, you need three key players. You need the entrepreneur to come up with new ideas to keep up with the times. Then you need the manager to set up the processes and people so things run smoothly. And then you need the technician to actually do the key work that makes a profit. So in a cosmetic practice, you, the surgeon, are the technician. But you're also juggling the jobs of the entrepreneur and the manager, and that takes different skill sets. Now, that's not a good use of your time, and it will not get you to your financial goals. So we're going to change that up for you, because when you set up systems, you and your staff get clarity. And when you remove the complexity, results happen, because money is made in the processes. Gosh, have I learned this the hard way. Money is made in the processes. So here's the first big mindset shift. Operate your practice like it's for sale. In other words, regularly ask yourself, if I wanted to sell my practice tomorrow, what would I need to improve to get the most value for it? Or said differently, if I wanted to buy an existing practice, what would I be looking for and be willing to invest in? So let's focus on turning your own practice into a sellable asset, and then I'll give you several more exit strategies other surgeons have used. So first, you want to build a team of rock stars. Now, hiring the right team for your practice will be your biggest challenge, but also your greatest asset, because it's all about the who. So please start looking at your staff as assets rather than overhead liability. They are your secret practice building weapons when it comes to patient relations, since they spend way more time with your patients than you do. Staff can make or break your cosmetic practice, so be sure you have the right people representing you. They are your leverage. You can't do it all alone, nor should you want to. So when you hire the right people, give them the right tools, and hold them accountable, they handle the majority of your practice for you, so you don't have to. So focus on the revenue generators first, such as adding another surgeon or a nurse injector and or a laser tech. Then an incredible patient coordinator who knows how to convert consultations. Then a receptionist who can bond with callers and book appointments. And then the support staff, and then an office manager who can be the buffer between you and all this staff. Now, as you grow, add a marketing person to handle your PR and social media, as well as a bookkeeper, and then an accountant, and eventually a COO to overlook everything. By the way, this is the time to document each role's title, tasks, and responsibilities. Then you document how they perform the tasks using checklists and videos to screen capture exactly how they do the tasks. Now, that way, there's no interruption in your processes since it's documented and someone else can step in, watch the how to videos, and use the checklist to get the job done. Now, the next focus goes to strategic marketing and planning. A buyer is looking for an automatic patient lead pipeline and marketing plan to predictably and reliably keep a steady stream of patients coming through the door, as well as a plan to increase the patient's lifetime value today, tomorrow, and far into the future. Now, the more you can show that to a buyer, the more they will pay for your practice. So be strategic by focusing on the 6 key ways you grow a cosmetic practice. And those are: you increase the number of leads, increase the number of appointments, then increase the number of consultations, then increase the number of conversions, then increase the number of patients returning for more, and then increase the number of referrals, because they're always going to be faster, cheaper, and easier than getting new patients, strangers from the internet. So before you invest in any more new patient attraction shiny objects, plug up the holes in your systems that are robbing you blind. That's where you'll see new profits more quickly and easily. Now, as a side note, this is why I created the KISS Loyalty Club. It sets you up with a reliable stream of cash-paying patients who grow your practice for you organically without discounting. So you have a more profitable practice to sell or enjoy. And you can check out those details at kissloyaltyclub.com. Now, the next focus is on setting standards so you don't compete on price. You are surrounded by competitors who will slash their prices to attract new patients. However, if aesthetic rejuvenation was based solely on price, this would always be about the lowest price, and that would turn into a race to the bottom, and then nobody wins. Now, it's only about price until you add in other determining factors to help the prospective patient consider the value they get when choosing you. Now, contrary to popular belief, the majority of cosmetic patients rarely decide based on price alone. Now, affordability and value, yes, but price alone, rarely. So get very clear about your value and what you stand for. Have conviction and believe in yourself and your prices. Now, if you believe you deserve top dollar because you do great work, then price your services for your preferred patients. Now, those are the patients who see you as a skilled, reputable plastic surgeon, and they're glad to pay more for your expertise, so they can be confident they'll get a great result safely. Find out what's important to those preferred patients and give it to them. For example, is it procedures, technology, innovation, expertise, credibility, status, convenience, quality, and or 5-star customer service? And consistency is the key. Whatever you decided are your standards, your patients learn to trust those standards and expect the same experience and result every time. And then lastly, you want to focus on leadership. Now, you know you're doing a good job leading when your practice is running smoothly and your staff is working well together. You've got peace of mind, it's running like a well-oiled machine with or without you there. However, if you feel frustrated, like you have to do everything yourself, or you feel the need to micromanage to ensure what you think is getting done is actually getting done, that's a red flag. Because if you feel like nobody cares about your practice like you do, that could mean you did not hire the right people, give them the tools they need to succeed, and or you're not holding them accountable. So the reality is you simply cannot build a successful practice by yourself. You've got to get a team supporting you, and that starts with your vision as the leader of your practice. So decide now what your vision is. And I always say this, know thyself. Are you building an empire or a lifestyle? Do you want to crush the competitors or be home for dinner every night? You need to know that because it's going to affect every decision you make. And then be sure the staff knows your vision so they perform at a high level because they have clarity and they know the end result you're striving for. So a good leader also takes good care of their staff, and they take great care of their patients in turn. Now that means you're genuinely interested in them as people first, then as staff. Show interest in their lives and families and what's important to them. Catch them doing things right and thank them often. Now, a good leader communicates the culture of the practice. Now, here are just some examples that can be used to get your point across, but of course, use your own, but this will be a good start for you. So, here's something like, we are in business to make money and do that by taking care of our team, so our team takes care of our patients. Or, we do not say no to patients who give us money. We make time for them because that's how we get paid. We treat every patient the same with kindness and respect, always with a smile, no matter how many patients or how crazy it is at times. We acknowledge every referral with a heartfelt thank you, and then so on. So, as a good leader, make sure the entire group plans as a team, wins as a team, and celebrates as a team. They also give credit for their success to their team, knowing it would not have been possible without them. So a good leader gives the staff solid goals they can work towards and have something to strive for that is concrete. A good leader meets with the team, listens and gets feedback, and then lets the team brainstorm how they will meet the goals. A good leader then holds them accountable without micromanaging. And team meetings are a must when you run your practice like a business. Hold your meetings on the same day and time so nobody can say they didn't know about it. Now, this is true team building and keeps everybody engaged and interacting with the success of the practice. Because you want to know at a glance if you're healthy or hurting, and that's easy to do when you regularly review your numbers and check in with your staff. Now you've got a well-oiled machine you can enjoy or sell or duplicate. And lastly, here are other ways surgeons use their entrepreneurial skills to grow or exit. They sell documented and proven practice-in-a-box systems to venture capitalists or create their own management operations systems called MOS and invite other practices on board to give those practices a stronger buying power and scales of economy to lower their cost. Or they come up with their own signature procedure and marketing plan that is reproducible for other surgeons to license, perform, and market. Or they create a new product and sell it to the pharma industry. Or they create a new SaaS software, and SaaS stands for Software as a Service, that helps practices grow, and they charge a monthly or annual fee. And there's many more of these strategies, so I plan on interviewing lots more entrepreneurial doctors on this podcast, so stay tuned so you can get more ideas and get your creative juices flowing on how you too can gain more from being just a plastic surgeon running a practice. Okay, so that wraps up this episode for Beauty in the Biz. I hope you got a lot out of this meaty topic. And if you did, please share a review on Beauty in the Biz and or subscribe. And then, of course, for sure, share this with your staff and your colleagues and brainstorm on what else can you do to build profit centers within your own practice. And then if you've got questions or feedback for me, please feel free to leave them on my website at CatherineMaley.com, or you can certainly DM me on Instagram at CatherineMaleyMBA. Thanks so much, and we'll talk again soon.
We hope you found valuable insight on this episode of Beauty in the Biz. For more episodes, tools, and Catherine's free book, visit www.CatherineMaley.com. That's www.CatherineMaley.com. And be sure to subscribe to get the latest practice building strategies delivered to you. And don't forget to share this Beauty in the Biz podcast with your staff and colleagues.